How you start your day is how you live your life. Most people wake up reacting to alarms, to responsibilities, to problems from the day before. They roll out of bed already behind. From the moment their eyes open, they're chasing time, letting the outside world dictate their energy. But not you. That version of living is over. Because a powerful life begins with a powerful morning. And a powerful morning begins with a choice. A decision to take control of your energy before the world has a chance to shape it. Intentional energy is not about having more hours in the day. It's about putting meaning behind those first moments when you rise. When you wake up, your mind is most impressionable. Your subconscious is wide open. That's the moment to plant the right seeds. Not doubt, not fear, not distraction, but intention, clarity, strength. If you start your day scrolling through negativity, your brain begins its day in defense. You begin to feel behind before you even begin. But if you feed your mind with purpose, words that align with your vision, goals that remind you who you're becoming, you shift everything. You don't just move through the day, you lead it. Energy is contagious. What you carry into your morning leaks into everything else. Your work, your relationships, your focus, your confidence. That's why it matters. You can't expect to build a strong life with a weak start. You can't walk into challenges hoping to rise to the occasion if you haven't first risen in your own mind. The morning is your proving ground. It's where you decide who's in charge, your circumstances or your spirit. Every successful person you admire, every name that's etched in legacy, understands this truth. Mornings are sacred. They guard them. They protect that time. They set the tone before anyone else gets a say. Why? Because when you own your morning, you no longer wait to feel inspired. You generate your own momentum. You don't wait to feel confident. You create confidence through action, through repetition, through reminding yourself of your mission the moment you wake up. There's no one size fits all formula. For some, intentional energy might look like journaling or gratitude. For others, it's working out, meditating, planning their day, or speaking affirmations out loud until their inner voice stops whispering doubt. But the point is deliberate energy. You don't just stumble into greatness. You build it before the world is even awake. You become it by committing to it when no one is watching. You also begin to realize that motivation is not something you find. It's something you schedule. You don't have to feel amazing to do something amazing. You just have to start. Your mind catches up with your motion, but you must start that engine early, before distractions take the wheel, before the world starts making demands of you. Remind yourself what you demand of yourself. This practice doesn't just transform your day, it transforms your identity. Because the more you start your mornings with intentional energy, the more you begin to see yourself differently. You see yourself as someone who shows up on purpose, someone who sets their own rhythm, someone who doesn't just react to life, but designs it. Think about this: every great breakthrough, every comeback story, every life-changing success began with a series of invisible mornings where someone chose to be disciplined before they were recognized, chose to focus before they were rewarded, chose to show up when it would have been easier to sleep in, tune out, or just get by. Those choices compound. That morning energy, your private energy, becomes your public legacy. So, before your feet hit the floor, remind yourself this morning matters. What I feed my mind matters. What I choose to focus on in these first moments matters. Because when you consistently choose powerful beginnings, you inevitably create powerful outcomes. It starts now, before the coffee, before the emails, before the noise. When the rest of the world is silent, you speak power over your day. You set the tone. You take command. And nothing can stop a person who chooses their energy before the world chooses it for them. There's a quiet danger in the word normal. It sounds safe, comfortable, familiar, but comfort can be a trap when it becomes the enemy of purpose. Too many people live on repeat, not by choice, but by habit. They confuse movement with progress. They wake up, go to work, come home, distract themselves, go to bed, and then do it all again the next day. Routines are not the enemy, but when routine becomes your identity, you forget that you were meant for something more. Purpose gives your life direction. It's the reason behind the rhythm, the intention behind the action. Without it, you might be efficient, but you'll never be fulfilled. Purpose is what turns a routine task into a meaningful step. It's what takes you from existing to living. When you live with purpose, every decision, every morning, every word you speak is tied to a vision of who you are and what you're building. You don't just wake up to survive the day. You wake up to own it. Routine alone is mechanical. It requires no vision, no conviction. You can repeat the same steps day after day and never grow, never stretch, never expand. But when you infuse those same steps with purpose, you evolve. You begin to do things not because you have to, but because they're aligned with a deeper mission. You get clear on what matters, and just as importantly, what doesn't. Living with purpose doesn't mean you have to overhaul your entire life overnight. It means you become conscious of why you do what you do. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop investing energy into things that have no return on your peace, your growth, or your future. You start making decisions based on who you want to become, not just who you've always been. There's a lie that purpose is something you find, like a hidden object you stumble upon. But purpose is not found, it's built. It's built by paying attention to what makes you feel alive. It's built by listening to that voice inside you that says, there's something more. It's built by noticing where your talents and your passion collide and then daring to follow that collision into uncharted territory. When you live with purpose, the way you carry yourself changes. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with more certainty. You no longer need validation from everyone because your internal compass is louder than the noise around you. Purpose grounds you. It becomes your filter, helping you eliminate distractions disguised as opportunities. It pushes you to say no to the easy path so you can say yes to the right path. Routine without purpose numbs your senses. It dulls your instincts. It teaches you to settle for good enough. But purpose disrupts that cycle. It makes you restless in the best way. It makes you question the systems you've accepted. It wakes you up to the reality that your time is limited and your calling is real. Once you taste purpose, mediocrity loses its flavor. You start seeking growth instead of convenience, meaning instead of comfort, impact instead of approval. That shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide that your life is worth designing, that your dreams aren't random, that your days aren't just filler between weekends. Each one is an opportunity to build towards something eternal. Not just success, but significance. Not just status, but service. Purpose moves you from self-interest to self-expansion. It forces you to consider how your gifts can elevate the people around you, not just yourself. Living with purpose requires courage because it often means choosing paths that others won't understand. It means waking up earlier, working harder, and believing in something before it's visible. It means delaying gratification, resisting distractions, and staying aligned with your vision even when your emotions waver. But it's in that resistance, in that discipline, that identity is forged. Routine asks, what's next on the list? Purpose asks, why does this matter? One leads to repetition. The other leads to reinvention. Purpose adds fire to your discipline and vision to your habits. It rewires how you show up at work, in relationships, in conversations, in solitude. Because when you're living with purpose, you're not just passing time. You're becoming someone. You're stepping into something greater. You're aligning your energy, your focus, and your life with the reason you're here in the first place. Fear is a natural part of life. It visits everyone. It speaks in the voice of hesitation, in the weight of doubt, in the subtle whispers that say, you're not ready, or you might fail. It's persistent and it's clever. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just quietly convinces you to stay where it's safe, to not raise your hand, to not speak your truth, to not go after what's really pulling at your heart. But there is one thing stronger than fear. One thing that silences it, drowns it out, burns right through it. That thing is your why. Your why is your reason, your fuel, your anchor. It's the answer to the question, what am I doing this for? When the process gets hard, when the path gets dark, when you feel like quitting, your why is what keeps you standing. It gives your actions meaning. It gives your struggle context. Without a strong why, fear wins by default because there's no reason powerful enough to push through the discomfort. But with a strong why, you'll walk through fire if you have to. Everyone experiences fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of purpose. Purpose is what gives you the strength to act despite the fear. It doesn't eliminate it, but it makes it irrelevant. You stop asking whether you're scared and start asking whether it's worth it. And when your why is strong enough, the answer is always yes. The moment you get clear on why something matters to you, truly matters, your brain starts shifting. Fear begins to lose its grip. You no longer see obstacles as stop signs. You see them as tests of how much you want it. Your mind starts finding solutions instead of excuses. You begin to realize that the real danger is not the fear itself, but letting fear steal your potential. Your why must be personal. It has to come from within. It can't be borrowed. It can't be faked. It's not something you create to impress others. It's something you feel. It could be your family. It could be your freedom. It could be the impact you want to leave behind. It could be your need to prove to yourself that you are capable of rising from what tried to break you. Whatever it is, your why must make you emotional. Because emotion is what drives action. If it doesn't move you, it won't move anything around you. There will be days when fear feels overwhelming, when the risk feels too high, when the failure feels too close. And in those moments, you won't be able to rely on motivation alone. Motivation fades, discipline wavers, but your why is permanent. It stays with you in the silence. It pushes you when nobody's watching. It reminds you of who you promised to become and why that promise matters more than your comfort. You don't overcome fear by waiting for it to disappear. You overcome it by getting so clear on your why that fear becomes background noise. The more time you spend focused on your mission, the less power fear has. You train your brain to prioritize vision over insecurity. You start acting not from emotion, but from decision. The decision that what you're chasing is bigger than what you're afraid of. Even failure looks different when you're connected to your why. You don't see it as defeat. You see it as part of the process. A step forward, a lesson, a necessary piece of the path. Fear tries to convince you that failing is the end, but your why reminds you that failing is just feedback. It's not final. It's fuel. Every setback becomes an opportunity to recommit, to realign, to go again with even more clarity. Your why isn't just a reason, it's a lifeline. When everything else wavers, your confidence, your resources, your timeline, your why stays rooted. It holds you up. It points you forward. It becomes the lens through which you make decisions the voice that gets louder than fear, and the force that turns pressure into progress. Fear will always be there, but when your why is real, it no longer leads the way. Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have. You can recover money. You can rebuild relationships. You can repair almost anything. But once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. You don't get to pause it, save it for later, or rewind it. And yet, despite how priceless time is, most people treat it like it's infinite. They wait. They hesitate. They delay dreams with the idea that someday will eventually arrive. But someday is not a day on the calendar. It's a comfort we tell ourselves when we're scared to act. And the truth is, the longer you wait to move, the more of your life you trade for the illusion of safety. Bold action is not reckless. It's deliberate. It's waking up and understanding that the clock is ticking whether you use it or not. That your goals are not waiting for you to feel ready. That your purpose does not care if the timing is perfect. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have. Every second you spend doubting yourself, every hour you spend stuck in indecision, is time stolen from the future you could be living. People often think boldness is reserved for the naturally fearless. But boldness is not a personality trait. It's a choice. It's the decision to move forward even when your legs are shaking. To speak up even when your voice cracks. To try even when failure feels likely. Acting boldly doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you trust yourself enough to take the first step, to show up, to do it scared. Because progress doesn't happen in theory. It happens in motion. Time becomes powerful when paired with bold action. The combination of urgency and courage turns ordinary days into defining moments. It transforms ideas into impact. It takes potential and turns it into performance. But you have to stop bargaining with time like it owes you something. It doesn't. It moves forward with or without your permission. You either use it or lose it. Think about how many dreams never get started because people are waiting for the timing to be right. They say they'll launch the business when things settle down. They'll write the book when they feel more inspired. They'll pursue the relationship, the career, the next level of their life when they're more prepared. But more prepared often becomes never. Bold action is not about feeling prepared. It's about being willing. You don't rise by standing still. You rise by moving, by risking, by putting yourself in the arena again and again. The people who change their lives are not the ones who had the most time. They're the ones who respected it the most. They used what they had. They stopped saying later and started saying now. They realized that the longer you stay stuck in the waiting room of life, the harder it is to leave. Boldness breaks the cycle. It disrupts the loop of delay and hesitation. It wakes you up to the fact that no opportunity will ever be more powerful than the moment you decide to go all in. You don't need massive leaps. You need consistent, courageous steps. Steps that reflect the urgency of your dreams. Steps that remind time you won't be passive. That you won't be the person who reaches the end of their life with a list of regrets longer than their accomplishments. Every day you get is a vote. A vote for what matters. A vote for who you want to be. And if you're not voting with bold action, you're letting life make decisions for you. There's a cost to inaction that most people never calculate. You think you're staying safe by not moving. But what you're really doing is slowly building a life you'll one day want to escape from. Time keeps going whether you use it or not. Your goals get further away or closer with every passing minute. The window doesn't stay open forever. Eventually, opportunities expire. Potential withers. And what could have been becomes what never was. Boldness is the antidote to regret. It's not about being reckless. It's about being real with yourself about what matters. It's about recognizing that comfort is not a life strategy. That fear is not a valid excuse. That hesitation is a habit you can break. The clock isn't stopping. The world isn't waiting. You have a choice right now to shrink or to step up, to drift or to decide, to spend your time or to invest it in something that will still matter. When the moment is gone, big dreams don't require grand gestures. They require small decisions made consistently. It's not the once in a lifetime opportunities that shape your life. It's the quiet, unseen choices you make every single day. Most people overestimate what they can do in a short burst of motivation and underestimate what they can build through steady, focused action. Destiny is not written in moments of inspiration. It's carved into your future by the habits you refuse to break and the discipline you choose to maintain even when no one's watching. Every day is a fresh vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Your actions either reinforce the identity you want or pull you further away from it. You don't become successful by accident. You don't wake up one day with a transformed life. Transformation happens through repetition, through showing up even when the fire isn't burning, through doing the work when it's boring, uncomfortable, or inconvenient. Every rep, every step, every decision wires your brain in a certain direction. And what you repeat, you become. People often talk about destiny like it's something predetermined, something written in the stars. But the truth is, your destiny is in your hands more than you realize. You are the author of the story, not a character waiting for someone else to write the next chapter. And the most powerful tool you have in shaping that story is action, not intention, not potential, action. Dreams without discipline stay dreams. But when you take daily steps, regardless of how small, they begin to gain momentum, and momentum changes everything. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. One workout doesn't change your body. One writing session doesn't produce a book. One discipline day doesn't shift your identity. But stack those days, and they start to carry weight. Stack those decisions, and they start to compound. That's when destiny moves, not in sudden eruptions, but in the slow, steady grind of daily alignment. When your habits match your vision, your life begins to shift at the level of identity. You stop trying to change from the outside in, and you begin evolving from the inside out. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a declaration, a statement to yourself and to the world that your future is worth effort. It's the daily reminder that you don't need perfect conditions to act. You just need clarity on who you want to be. Most people wait for motivation, but motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice you can make daily. And every time you choose it, you train your brain to respond to challenge with action, not avoidance. The version of you want to become is not far away. It's built through thousands of micro decisions. You don't need to leap forward. You need to keep moving, keep building. Keep doing the things that align with your goals, even when they don't feel exciting. Progress doesn't always feel good in the moment. It's not always glamorous, but it's always worth it because it's building a foundation for the kind of life most people only talk about. Every time you show up when it's easier to quit, you're rewiring your mind. You're shifting the default setting from procrastination to power. You're telling your body and brain that you can be trusted to follow through. And trust in yourself is the foundation of everything. Your confidence, your goals, your success. You don't become confident by thinking positively. You become confident by doing consistently. Confidence is the result of repeated follow-through. It's earned, not gifted. The people you admire, the stories that inspire you, they're all built on daily commitment, on choosing action over excuses. on embracing the process when no one was applauding. And in your own life, the same principle applies. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with giant leaps. It's filled with intentional steps, with the courage to keep going, with the discipline to do what matters, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough moment. But the truth is, the breakthrough isn't coming until the groundwork has been laid. And that groundwork is built daily. Not weekly, not occasionally, daily. The habits you build, the routines you respect, the standards you set, all of them create the trajectory of your life. Because action compounds. What you water grows. What you repeat reinforces. What you practice becomes your pattern. And eventually, those patterns become your destiny. Every morning you wake up, you're handed a gift. Time, energy, potential. And what you do with it defines the direction of your life. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to repeat yesterday. You are here to rise. Deliberately, powerfully, unapologetically. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Move with purpose, not habit. Let your reason drive you harder than your fear holds you back. Act boldly because time is not waiting. And remember, it's not the massive moves, but the consistent steps that rewrite the future. You are not powerless. You are not behind. You are one decision away from momentum, and momentum is everything. This isn't motivation for a moment. It's a mindset for a lifetime. Step forward. Wake up to your power. Choose who you become every single day.